In this lesson, we're going to take a look at some different aspects of angles. So if you take a look at the first question up here, it says name the vertex and the sides of each angle. Okay, well the vertex is kind of like the corner of the angle. It's right here. Okay, so the vertex would be E in this case. And then it asks you to label the sides of each angle. Okay, excuse me, and the sides are the straight parts. So like this would be a side here, and the way you would write it would be FG with a line over it. And the other side is this side here, which would be FE with a line over it. So those are the vertex and sides of each angle. Let's take a look at number 2. So the vertex would be the corner here, which is D. And the sides would be DE, and again you would write a line over it, and then it would also be DC with a line over it. Let's do one more example. So number 3, the vertex would be E, and the sides would be EF and ED. So those are some examples of identifying the vertex and the sides of each angle. This next question asks you to name each angle 4 ways. So there are lots of different ways we can name an angle, okay? The first is just by the vertex. So we could call this angle M because the vertex is M. We could also call it angle 7 because there's a 7 written here in the little opening. And the other way we can do it is by tracing the angle. So if I trace it this way, it'd be LMN. So it'd be angle LMN. The key is that the vertex, which is M, has to be in the middle. If I trace it the other way, like that, it would be angle NML. But again, notice the vertex is in the middle. So those are the 4 different ways you can name an angle. Let's look at another one. So number 6 here. So I can call it angle Q because Q is the vertex. I could call it angle 4 because there's a 4 written in the opening. If I trace it this way, I could call it angle PQR. Notice my vertex is Q and Q is in the middle. And if I trace it this way, I could call it angle RQP. Again, notice Q is the vertex and it's in the middle. Let's do one more example. So number 7, I could call it angle P because P is the vertex. I could call it angle 8 because there's an 8 in the opening. I can trace it this way and call it angle OPQ. Notice P is the vertex and it's in the middle. And I could trace it this way and call it angle QPO, and again, P is the vertex and P is in the middle. So those are the 4 different ways that you can name each angle. All right, so now over here it says name each angle that has V as a vertex. Okay, so if you look at number 9, V is the vertex right here. And there are lots of different angles that have V as a vertex. So we're going to name all of them, okay? And okay, so first of all, I can do angle 1 because it's right here and V is the vertex. I could do angle 8, which is right here, and V is the vertex. Okay? And the other way, or the other one, is actually the big one on the outside. And that one I actually have to trace the letters, angle QVS. And again, V is the vertex and V is in the middle, so that big angle is also listed. All right, if I look at number 10, here's angle V as the vertex. I have angle 8, angle 6, and angle 2. All right, if I trace the big angle, it would be angle EVH. And there are also some smaller ones in here. I could trace these 2 together, which is angle EVG. And I'm going to get a different color. I could trace this angle here, and that's angle FVH. So in this one, there's actually 5 different angles you could make. Let's do one more example. So number 12, I could do angle 2, angle 3, or angle 4, the little angles. I can do the big angle, which is angle DVG. I could do these 2 angles together, which is angle DVF. And I could do these 2 together, which is angle EVG. So again, this one has 5 different angles that work as well. So those are the different ways that you can name all of the different angles that you see in the picture. All right, the last thing we want to talk about is these words here. Acute is an angle less than 90 degrees. Obtuse is an angle bigger than 90 degrees. Right is an angle that is 90 degrees. And straight is basically a straight line. So if we go through and classify each of these, if you look at number 1, this angle is less than 90 degrees, so this would be acute. Number 2, this looks like it makes a 90-degree angle, so I would call this one right. Number 3, this one's smaller than 90, so I would call that acute. This is bigger than 90, so that would be obtuse. This is bigger than 90, so that would be obtuse. Over here, this is smaller than 90, so this would be acute. This is bigger than 90, so this is obtuse. Bigger than 90, so this is obtuse. Smaller than 90 is acute. And this one is a straight angle, because it's a straight line. So you're basically looking at the angle, seeing if it's bigger or smaller than 90. I always picture the corner of a piece of paper. If it's the same as the corner of a piece of paper, it's 90. It's a right angle. If it's smaller than the corner of a piece of paper, then it's acute, and you can kind of think of it as acute angle. It's a small angle. Obtuse would be an angle that's bigger than 90 degrees. And then straight is, of course, just a straight line. So if we do the same thing, but we're actually given the degrees, it makes it a little bit easier because you're literally just looking at the number. So this is bigger than 90, so this is obtuse. Bigger than 90 would be obtuse. 180 is a straight line. 87 is smaller than 90, so that would be acute. 90 is exactly 90, so that's right. Okay, so those are some examples of how you can actually take the degrees and classify them as acute, obtuse, right, or straight. So those are some of the basics around angles.